Hello again. This is the next video for your SATC 101 assignment. And in this video, we're talking about Module 2. So we're going to be talking about the U.S. Code, the Code of Federal Regulations, the Federal Register, public and private laws, and showing you how to use those various resources here. So the first thing we want to do, let's start with the United States Code. And as I mentioned in the previous video, the U.S. Code is sort of the codification of the law, meaning that the laws are passed by Congress. When they go through the process of actually being published, they end up here in the U.S. Code. Now, you can see here, well, again, let me backtrack here. So you just type in United States Code into Google. You want to find, again, you're looking for the GovInfo link. So you can click on that. And then you can see it's arranged by year. So each year, the code is published. The most recent year to be published was 2018. And at some point soon, 2019 will be published, and then 2020, there's a little bit of a lag time there. Let's say, for example, we want to, let's say we have a citation. We're given a citation for, let's say, and the citation is from 2011. And you can see it's broken down into different titles. There's 51 different titles there. And so our citation says that we need to find something from, of course, I mentioned in the first video how you read that. And the citation is 38 U.S.C. 1702. Let's say that's the citation. So we know, and it's from 2011. We've also been given the date. So we're going to go under Title 38, which you can see is Veterans Benefits. And then a nice feature here is you can just sort of drill down and get to the particular section without really having to search for it, without getting to the actual section that you need. So what you can do at this point is we're looking for 1702. So we can see it's going to be somewhere in here within this number range of 1101 to 2413 under Part 2. So we're going to click the little plus sign again, and you just keep drilling down. We know it's in 1702, so we know it's got to be here within Chapter 17, dealing with hospital, nursing home, domiciliary, and medical care. So you press the, you just keep pressing that. Here we see it's got to be within 1701 to 1708. So we click that again. And then there's 1702. And it's something dealing with psychosis after service in World War II and following periods of war. So you just click on either the PDF or the text link. So click on the PDF link, and there it is. There's the, you can see it starts right there where you see the number and the writing in bold. So you just scroll down and it gives you that section. Go all the way down until it starts the next section there. So that's kind of the way that you find things in the U.S. Code, and these are, you can see these are all the related laws that were passed that deal with this section of the code. Okay. And then these are all the amendments that were added to that particular law. So that's kind of the information that you're going to be looking for. And once you get the hang of using this and just continuing to click and drill down, it's really not that hard to find if you do have a citation. Okay. Next thing we want to talk about here are slip laws. So let's go to public and private laws. Let's type that in there. Okay. And so we want to, again, we're looking for the GovInfo link. So we're going to click here. And then the definition of what public and private laws are, it's going to give you that information here. So most laws passed by Congress are public laws. And public laws affect society as a whole. So pretty much, 90% of what's passed by Congress are public laws. Private laws are things that get passed that affect an individual, family, or small group and are enacted to assist citizens that have been injured by government programs or who are appealing an executive agency ruling, such as deportation. So that's a law that's not as common. What you can do here, again, if you have a citation, again, it's not too difficult to find. You can go click here on Browse, and you can see here it goes back to the 95, 96 Congress, 104th Congress. And so what we're going to do here, let's scroll down. Okay, so let's say our citation that we have for the law number is 111-148. And so the 111 means that's the number of the Congress. So we would look under the 111th Congress. And then again, most of the time, 90% of the time, it's going to be, or 99% of the time, you're going to be looking at the public laws. So we're going to click a little arrow. And again, you drill down a lot like we did with the U.S. Code. So from this point, we're going to go down. We're looking for 148. That was in our citation. So we're going to go here to the 100 to 199 number range. And then you just keep going from here. And it stops at 119, so we need to go to the next page. And you see there's lots of laws listed in this number range. So we'll just keep going. Okay, so now we're to the 140. So we'll scroll down, and so you can see 111-148 is there. And this is actually the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act, which is better known as Obamacare. And so to get to the text of that law, we just click either the PDF or text links there. And so this will give you the text of the law. It's usually a couple pages long. It shows you what all the sections are. And then you just keep scrolling. And there's a lot of stuff here. Stuff here. Well, depending on the law, and in this case, this is a long one here, but there you get into the actual text of the law. They're talking about improving coverage and so forth. Okay. So the next thing I want to show you here, let's go back. And now let's talk about the Federal Register. Okay, so the Federal Register, we type that into Google. Okay, the first thing, you can see the GovInfo link here. But the first thing I do want to show you is here, the actual, now this is going to show it, when you go into GovInfo, it kind of gives you sort of the volumes for a particular year. Now, in order to see like the new rules that are passed each day, what you're going to do is go into the federalregister.gov, that first link that was listed there. And so this gives you the kind of the current issue and shows you. Now, I should mention the Federal Register is whenever a federal agency passes a rule or a rule guideline that's going to be eventually will appear in the Code of Federal Regulations that deal with businesses, industries, individuals, and so forth. What happens is that the rule notice appears here, and it's for public inspection. So in order to, you know, provide more, this was started in order to provide more accountability for these government agencies. And so you can go in each day and take a look at, you know, the proposed rules that are out there. This is almost kind of like, you know, it's been called kind of the federal government's newspaper. Each day, here's kind of what's going on within the federal government. And so this, like I said, if you're looking for the latest regulation, you do that here. They do have a lot of features here. You know, those who are in industries that are heavily affected by regulations, a lot of times can sign up here under MyFR, and then you can specify which, you know, it'll send you updates for each, you know, for the regulations that you're interested in that affect your industry. You can either browse or search here. You can search by agency. And it's often the way the Federal Register is broken down is by the particular federal agency. And then here's sections. They've got it also organized by subject as well. So it's a very useful website. But again, this is for just the most recent rules that you want to find, kind of the current state of, or what's new as far as regulatory changes, and kind of what's currently in place for, you know, the particular area that you're looking for. So we're going to go back here. Let's go to the GovInfo version of the Federal Register. Okay, so it is going to have some of the newer stuff from 2020 here, but it's not the daily stuff here. So you can find really most of the most recent stuff will be on federalregister.gov. But this is it, so it's you know, if you're looking for this year or recently the most up to date, you'd want to go to federalregister.gov. But the site here goes all the way back to the 1930s. So if you're looking for regulations, and there's not always changes happening every day or every year for a particular industry or for a particular area of business or the economy or whatever it is. So a lot of times you want to find the relevant regulations from a particular year. And so in this case, so for example here, let's go back. Let's say we want to see a rule that was passed back in 2010. And let's say we have the date here and we know what that date is, because a lot of times you want to find out what prompted the change, all that sort of stuff. You can go back and you can find out that information here. So let's say the date that we have, the one that we're looking for, is December 15th, 2010. So again, we're going to kind of drill down to find that specific date. So for each year, it's organized. The notices are organized by month. So we'll go down to December, and then we're going to find December 15th. And then from here, let's say that this has to do with, let's say it's education. And you can see here, it's broken down to notice of proposed information collection requests. Again, I talked about, you know, as far as collecting information, they post these rule changes publicly, and then collect comments that the public has about that before they go through and continue with the rule and codifying it into the regulations. Supplemental priorities for discretionary grant programs. That deals with grant programs. Most of the time what you're going to want to look at here is this notice of proposed information collection requests. And so we click under there. Okay, so from that day's edition, December 15th, here were kind of the the notices that were made by the Department of Education, the section there. And you can see, you know, where it starts here is the name of the department, and it runs down until you get to the next department or next agency. So that would be the notice that we're looking for. So again, a lot of times if you have, you know, again, the date information, you can just drill down and find that in the Federal Register. Okay, the next thing, let's go back to the Code of Federal Regulations. We talked about that some in Module 1. I want to talk here a little more about how to find specific regulations. So the first thing let's do, and actually what we're going to do here, the most recent regulations, kind of like the Federal Register, are not found on GovInfo. Let's type in eCFR, put that in there, and it's going to be this first one here, the Electronic Code of Federal Regulations. And so that is where you're going to find the most up-to-date. You can see that this is current as of June 8th, so this is the most up-to-date regulations. And so from here, what we're going to do here is you can again, but it is like GovInfo in that you can browse through, you know, again, if you have a citation, you can browse through and kind of drill down to what you need. Okay, so we're looking at we need to know the most recent regulations dealing with, let's say we're going to look at Title 30 mineral resources, and that's something that's very relevant to your course here, to this assignment, dealing with a lot of this. These are kind of the regulations that affect the oil and gas industry. Okay, and so then we're going to go under, let's see, let's look at under 200. We know it's something, let's say it's under 200, let's say we're looking for 250 that deals with oil and gas and sulfur operations in the Outer Continental Shelf. So then you just click on the section there, 250, and then you can go down and take a look at, it's got it organized by the particular subject. So it's talking about if we needed to look at excuse me, the sections dealing with inspection of operations. We could go down, you can click the section head here, and it'll show you the different regulations under that section. Or you could skip ahead and see, you know, if you wanted to see this one specifically, it talks about naming facilities and wells in the Gulf of Mexico region. You can just click that. That'll take you directly to that particular section or the rule in that that specific regulation in that section. So there we go. There's 250.150 about naming facilities and wells. Okay. So at this point, as I mentioned again, we went from, you know, we looked at the title, and then we went to the chapter, and then we looked at the specific subchapter at that point. And that's kind of, you just sort of drill down in order to find, like I mentioned, if it was Title 30, Section 250, we needed to look at, you know, that's the way that you just kind of drill down and find that. Now, as far as searching goes, you can either do the simple search or the advanced search here. A lot of times you can find what you're looking for with the simple search. These others are a little bit harder to use. You know, if we know we're looking at Title 30 again, we can type that in there, and let's say we're doing a search for all the regulations within that title that deal with safety. And so here you've got, and sometimes this is maybe a little quicker way to find things. So you know, you can try out either way. If you don't have a specific, if you know it's under Title 30, or we've identified that as the title, say you don't have a specific section, but we identified that Title 30 is the title that you need, but you don't have, you know, the rest of that information, you could do a search here and then go under, and then there's 250. Or you can see here what came up in the list, their well operations and equipment. You can go directly to that subpart and look at the regulations there. And then if you noticed here, when we went to well operations equipment, it highlights the search term we put there, you know, talking about safety measures there. So that's kind of the way that you search there. If you need more help, of course, you can always ask questions, as I mentioned in Module 1. Myself and also the staff member we have in the department, Lynette, she can also help you with that. If you go into search tips here, if you're searching, this does explain a little more. It could be helpful to you. You might be able to have your questions answered there. Okay, let's go over now. And like I said, this is for like the latest regulations that you need. If you do need to look up a regulation from a past year, that's where GovInfo comes into play. So we'll type in Code of Federal Regulations. It's going to be this first one here, Annual Edition. And then from here, what we're going to do is, again, you know, you identify the year that you need. So if it is regulations, you know, we're going to, let's say it's 2012. And then, again, we know that it is from, you know, it's Title 30 is what we need. So we'll go down to Title 30. You just click the plus arrow there. And then, you know, if it's something that you know, let's say the rest of that citation again, and again, this is if you have, you know, the citations. Then you can go under that and find the citation there, as I showed you before. You know, you just drill down and do that. Now, you can also search for that, and it may be quicker. If you don't want to do all the clicking and drilling down, another way is that you can search. So I will show you how to do that here. What you're going to do is go up to the search button here. And then, assuming that you do have, you know, again, the citation information, we're going to go over to citation, and then we're going to choose the collection. So we're going to choose Code of Federal Regulations. And here's the year. Let's say that it's 2011. Let's say title number. You know, again, we'll continue with looking at 30. And let's say we need 250, you know, that dealt with the oil and gas and the Gulf of Mexico. So we're talking 250. And let's say the section we need is 107. So you put that in there. And that brings it up for you there. So there it is right there at the top, 250, 107. And again, that's one that we kind of saw earlier, dealt with safety. So there it is there. So that may be a quicker way in order to find what you're looking for, especially if you do have that citation. Okay. And that's all I've got for this module here today. Remember that let me pull up the library website here. Again, my contact information is here. As I mentioned on Module 1, you can find my contact information under Library Staff. I do want to mention to you the subject guide for PetSim here. Let's scroll down, find that. So we're going to go Resources. Let me go back here. We're going to go resources here from the home page, library homepage, and then go to subject guides. And then PetSim. My contact information is available here. So when you have questions as you go along in your assignment, you can find my contact information there. That's all I've got for Module 2. I'll see you in the next video on Module 3.